right now the whole world is going through a certain level of fear, anxiety and stress because of the coronavirus pandemic. What would be your advice?
Well, if you really think of it, and I think the nature of human is full of anxiety, stress and fear. If you really examine it, the nature of how the human actually, we live with two great fear. Fear of losing what we have and fear of not gaining what we want. In between now, suddenly there's COVID-19, and I personally feel this, the COVID-19 came on the right time, and I'm sorry, I'm not being insensitive, In the Dharma, these are all predicted, that there will be famine, war, and such pandemic, and that's been more than 2,500 years ago. Today is equivalent to a scientist. Then we call the teacher Gautama, we fondly call him the Buddha. He predicted that there will be on and off, time and again, there will be all this three disaster, the natural disaster, war, famine, and all these diseases. So I think in the millennium, we are very distracted. We give too much importance to the materials and capitalism, and somehow we forgot the nature of human beings, and then also we forgot to respect environment, the whole nature of what we are. And today, if you really look at it, the powerful one, the rich one, young, it really doesn't matter who you are, And somehow we realize we are quite helpless, And so it's the right time for us to rethink about the purpose of our life, Because of COVID-19, we lose our freedom. Primarily, yes, there's a problem of COVID-19. Secondary, the economic. Millions and millions of people are mentally affected. Not because of COVID-19, because of fear of not gaining what you want. I'm sure there are many business people who wanted to earn millions this year. It's all somehow become we call it white elephant, There's no return, there's no profit, and so I think, to be really honest, in the Dharma we say, use unfavorable circumstances as a support to be a better person, In the Dharma we call Kengin Toksu Chawarachingilo, meaning, so this is the right time to utilize and learn from COVID-19 that there's no meaning. The purpose of life is not all about all the materials and then the fashions, And somehow COVID-19 I think, is a great teacher. And I profoundly call it the Guru COVID-19, where he comes and teaches us the value of our life. And please, I think, rethink and about purpose of your life. And I think this will really help us, to become a better human being.
In Buddhism, we also we stress a lot on impermanence. So there are some people who are also saying that this COVID-19 is a reminder that of impermanence, and it also it's kind of telling us to pause and enjoy the life. Do you feel that way as well?
As a Dharma follower, it's been almost now 4 decades, And yes, in Asia we have a high respect to Lam, Trulkus, Rinpoches, Personally, to be really, I don't think we are any extraordinary beings. We don't have any clairvoyance. We don't have any power, But personally, my experience as a spiritual follower, as a Dharma follower, I learned how to enjoy sufferings. Are you suffering right now? Because of what's happening in the world? Are you suffering?
Most of us.
Most of us, right? So as a Buddhist, as a Dharma follower, we actually can learn how to enjoy suffering. Have you heard of this? Enjoying suffering? Yes, you heard about enjoying life, enjoy your day, enjoy your holiday. But have you heard of enjoy suffering?
Not really. But
So
yes.
exactly, your question is about impermanence. If you know the value of impermanence, the meaning of impermanence, if you know the meaning of the Dharma, actually there are four great seals, meaning is a symbol, is a sign of the teaching of Buddha. All the essence of the teachings are in four seals. We call it four great seals. The first one is, we call it impermanence. All the compounded things are impermanent. So 2,500 years ago, the teacher Gautama said everything is impermanent. When he was 29, he left his palace, not because he was a loser. He was a successful prince to be the next king, but he saw his father was aged, his mother died, his wife was complaining, his son was aging. So Prince Siddhartha felt things are changing constantly, and purpose of my life is not to be surrounded by all these sufferings as well as all the impermanence. So that's how he actually decided to live and be on the spiritual path, embark on. That's what he said after that. All the compounded things are impermanent. And number two, all the aggregates are sufferings. Doesn't family, feelings, wealth. As I was saying, fear of not gaining what you want and fear of losing what you have because of those aggregates. So somehow you constantly, and you will only suffer when you don't know that things are impermanent. You will only have fear when you don't know those aggregates and compounded things are cause of sufferings. So as you are asking, is a great reminder for the beings who have not believed and followed. For the spiritualist, I think constantly, to be honest today, if you ask me, Sonam, are you concerned? Are you worried about COVID-19? Are you talking about me, myself? No. Because my past 40 years, being a spiritual follower, we learn about impermanence. It's predicted there will be pandemic, there will be war. So we are well prepared. But today we feel quite helpless looking at all the people who are suffering, and we feel helpless. So as I was saying, I have only two feelings right now. Before this COVID-19, there was feeling of sadness, tremendous sadness, looking at all the people with greed, anger, attitude. I always wish and hope that people will learn before it's too late to become a better human being. And once you get carried away when everything goes right. Today, if you look at it, yes, firstly the impermanent. Secondly, I think people are realizing now, I have no meaning of my life. I wanted to become a successful, I want to do this, that, all my ideas, my plans are crushed. And as I'm saying, if you are prepared to learn how to enjoy suffering, this would have been the best solution. So hopefully people will learn that we can't trust. As I was saying, first is everything is impermanent. Second, everything is contaminated. Thirdly, you have to really examine it. Examine it if there's any solid meaning in your life, the purpose of your life, whatever you do. Is in the Dharma, we say, is like a dream. I want to ask you this at the same time. When you have a nightmare, bad dreams, for example, Yesterday you went for a beautiful dinner with your friend. You remember the place, the food, the company, which happened before you went to bed. You went out, you came back, so happy. At the same night, you will have a bad nightmare. Maybe there's an earthquake, the whole hotel came down, crashed, you lost your loved one. So when you wake up next morning, then you remember those both the last night we went for dinner, and at the same time I had a nightmare. I dreamt, and actually you died in my dream, So experiencing both event. So now when you compare, okay, listen carefully. When you compare, all right, the dream that you had, the experience in your dream and the experience during your dinner, can you actually separate these two experiences? When you think of it, I went for dinner last night, I had a nightmare. Both the déjà vu, both the experience are quite vague. It's not really, can't differentiate these two feelings. The nightmare you had is quite solid, serious. Yet, the experience that your dinner event was also not that clear, So what happened in the past has the same kind of experiences. So the third subject is, since your experiences and the déjà vus are vague and there's nothing, when you think of your yesterday's dinner, you really can't think this picture very clearly. There's no clarity.
Right.
You get what I mean? Right now you are clear here. Similarly, if in your dream it's very clear, you see your friend dying, you see the things crashing on your life, But tomorrow when you wake up, this experience are just like not very clear.
Yes.
So this is why Gautama was saying life is like a dream. Because if you compare two experiences, it's the same.
Yes.
So yesterday you left in a dreaming like a world, and right now is a daydreaming, right? So similarly, all your purpose of your life, if you examine it, you won't find today the COVID-19, the guru COVID-19 is teaching us, hello, wake up, you're daydreaming. You wanted to get married, you want to have a family, you wanted to earn millions of money. This is all crushed. 2020's plan for the, most of people who want to get married, have family, holiday, is all crushed. That explains there's no solid meaning or the essence. That's why in the Dharma, life is essenceless, is void of solid meaning. So if you don't understand it, you will right now you will be definitely suffering. You will be having a lot of fears, so and uncertainty because you don't practice impermanence, and you are going through great pain because you don't never realize all these things can be, cause of your sufferings. So, but if you somehow understand the great seal of everything is impermanent, everything is contaminated. If I really examine it, the things happen in my yesterday's event and the dream, today's experience are like there's no differences. Similarly, whatever I do today, tomorrow, I won't be again living in my past. That will give you a great awareness. So, purpose of, are you a Buddhist? Are you a Buddhist yourself?
Yes.
So, what is the essence of Buddhist? Do you practice Dharma? I'm sure that you do Tentanshe, I'm sure you do Kami Fishe,
Yes.
a lot of things. So somehow we Himalayans are distracted with the object and the idea of the Buddha's materials teachings, not the inner wisdom. So today, as a Buddhist, being a Buddhist country, I think we should be confident and have great trust if we have followed the teaching of the Gautama properly. Because teaching of the Gautama is to gain awareness. Awareness is within, not in external affairs such as like temple and all these are, yes, these are also part of your Dharma, but as a tool, not as the real essence of the Dharma. As Gautama Buddha said, you hold your highest authority. This is, to be honest, today, many people, my non-Buddhist people ask, what is it that you chose Buddha, Dharma as your spiritual path? The beautiful thing about the Dharma is, as I said, first, to learn how to enjoy sufferings. None of the beliefs teaches you how to enjoy sufferings. As a Dharma follower today, I learn how to enjoy sufferings. Number two, we all divine, we all have this identity and the awareness, potential awareness within us. At the same time, we hold our highest authority, not in the hand of the Buddha. Remember this, the people translated it beautifully. Shake, shake, God shake, actually I shake. Have you heard of this?
No.
Sinil hagi sivi maparangi sheko, maparangi siko. So they have translated this in English, I think youth. Shake, shake, God shake, actually I shake. So that has a great, essence. Yes, we use Buddha Dharma, we use all those, object and representative of a religion as a support, as a tool to awaken yourself. When you say awaken, you to realize, to gain awareness, and that has to happen within. And if you don't have the highest authority, I can't awaken you. You have to awake yourself. But I can wake you up. Hey, wake up. There's a fire behind you. Then you have your own ability and authorities for you to escape and run. And I can say, this is the door, let's run. This is what Gautama Buddha does. So, to be honest, definitely is a great reminder for all of us to be humble, to love the world differently, to live differently, to really contemplate in the meaning of your life and purpose of your life. And we personally feel really helpless, but individually, thanks to the teaching of the Gautama Buddha, we are well prepared. And when I say, I'm not talking about Bhutan, I'm talking about the beings who have been on the path of spiritual and the Dharma. We are informed, it's predicted, and I have been turning around and telling people, like, I feel so good because there's nothing for me to lose. And the purpose of the Dharma is fearless. When I talk to my friend, people are very disappointed, uncertain, like they are worried. As I said, primary is coronavirus, secondary is the economic. So to be really honest, Sonam, if you really examine it right now, mentally people are really disturbed, not because of
not because of the disease.
It's just like totally your dream is shattered. There are people like who wants to make millions of money. There are people who want to get married. There are people who want to do a lot of more things. So today here the impermanence comes. COVID-19 is the manifestation of, I think, human awareness, and to be humble, to be really, I think we need to, I'm sorry to say that, civilize again. I personally feel because of the materials growth around us, because of the such economic developments and the modernization and the fashions, we are becoming a social animals, and it's all about me, myself, Today, if any of us feel fearful, sad, lost, and confused, because you are too selfish. You're just thinking of yourself. The whole world is like losing your freedom, and here you are just worried about yourself, And this karmic virus is caused because of selfish individual like ourselves. If today you don't wake up, I'm sorry, things are gonna get more difficult. We can expect the worst. So my request is just wake up, contemplate on your life, the meaning of your life, and I think all of us, if we somehow decided to look inward and try to develop within, without depending on the phenomena or the materials things around us, I think there will be a greatest peace and comfort and confident and fearless.
Currently, over 3,000 Bhutanese are being quarantined, and there was also a recent post on Facebook, a Bhutanese who was tested positive in USA.
Mm-hmm.
So she highlighted that more than the disease, it was the depression that was killing her. Most of the person who has been diagnosed with COVID-19 they're going through mental stress. So what would be your advice, love, for them?
Well, again, I think it's a bit too late to advise, because people who are infected, I don't think they see nothing, they hear nothing now, and my advice, I'm not in a position to advise anybody, but my own experience. I had a kidney transplantation, in 2011. I woke up from the dead bed, and so the main fear, that depression that you have right now, is because you have too much of ego, of self-cherishing, And to be really honest, think about it. Guru Padmasambhava mentioned this. Do you feel anything when you see a dead body in front of you? By seeing a dead body, if you feel nothing, Guru Rinpoche said you are actually blind, because you don't expect you to be the next dead body. You don't realize that you can actually become a dead body one day. And Guru Rinpoche again said, do you feel anything when you hear about the death? If you feel nothing when you say your friend died, someone died, do you feel anything? If you don't feel that one day you will be the person that talk about by others, saying that she died, he died, then you are deaf, he said, because your hearing is not working. Your sight is not working, So main flaws and the error is because you've been too distracted. You've been too self-cherishing yourself. As many great masters mentioned in the Dharma, you are born to die. Yes, we all know we will die one day. And one of the great masters said, you don't know when you will die. When? You don't know where you will die. And you don't know how you will die. Highest authority in the world is suffering right now. Nobody expected that they will suffer from COVID-19, that this will affect. Many great masters are feeling helpless as well. Regardless of any beliefs, because that's the nature of our birth. Nobody can predict where, how, when you will die. So if you have heard of this, if you are prepared, today you won't go through any depressions, So, the message, please, modern millennials, right? Wake up. Life is more than a modernization, being a fashion victims. There are a lot more things you can do about your life. I think inward a bit, search the meaning of life within, not in computer games such as PUBG and Netflix and Instagram, Snapchat, what else? Facebook. Well, to be really honest, you are distracted. And those today, forget about those entertainment. You may be born into a powerful family. Does your powerful family help you when you're depressed? Maybe you are young, energetic, highly educated in modern educations. Maybe you hold PhD. Our modern educations, our modernization help us to build our ego. Do you agree? When you go to study, it says like, you have to be the best. This is how you build yourself. This is how you win. This is how you gain. And your parents advise you, girl, you have to be the best. You have to win. You have to gain. Nobody taught us in the classroom, our parents, that you will die one day, that one day our wealth, our education, our power can't help you, you will be all alone. Nobody, I'm sure most of the people never heard of this. So this is why right now you are becoming the victim of your own ego and the emotions. So my message to the millennials is, what do you call it?
Millennials.
Millennials, right? So wake up. As it's good to have all this development and comfort, at the same time, spiritual wealth is quite important. It's inexhaustible. It's something that will awaken you, and you will not go through this fear anymore, right? So with this, another simple word is, separate your body and mind. Our mind rebirth million times, as one of the great masters said. If there's a way we can measure our body, the dead bodies, the skeleton and the bone that we have rebirth in this world. When I was born as an ant, when I was born as a dog, animal, human, if we can accumulate and save it somewhere, the bone that we accumulated will be higher than the Mount Everest. Meaning your rebirth in this world, your life, when I was that animal, when I was this human, your bone will be higher than, accumulation of your bone will be higher than Mount Everest. And of course, when you are born, you have to nurture with the mother's milk. If you can accumulate all this milk, it will be greater than great oceans that we milk, that drank our mother's milk. So meaning, you have born 1,000 and million times with the same soul, different body. Today you borrowed this human body as someone's daughter, someone's husband, someone's wife. And now if you are infected, if you are being fearful, contemplate, have you been a good wife? Have you been a good daughter? Have you been a good mother? Have you been a good husband, good father? Did you live ethically? The life that you lived so far, contemplate, go back. Regret for all the wrong deed you have done. If there's a one chance the karma gives you again to be back to normal life, change it. Go and talk to your enemies. Go make friends with the people that you hated, and then just try to live meaningfully. And just now you say, if there's a chance, I'll be a better person. Otherwise, don't fear. Separate your body and your mind. One day, it's not necessarily COVID-19, anything can take your life. So today COVID-19 is coming as a reminder, and use this unfavorable circumstances as great support, and just really constantly exercise loving kindness and try to gain self-awareness, and learn to trust yourself, learn to live within instead of living distracting around. Nobody is able to help us. Nobody helped us in the past. Nobody will help us in the future, So put your trust in your own awareness, contemplate, meditate, and just feel helpless looking around the world. Today, as I was saying, as a spiritual follower myself, I'm not depressed because of COVID-19. I'm depressed because of people freaking out. I'm disturbed because people are not prepared. Even Buddhist people are not prepared. Everybody is freaking out. And that explains Dharma never served you. Dharma never helped you. And I'm sorry, those who call Buddhists yourself, especially, I adorned with this red robe, I wanted to speak behalf of the Buddha Dharma. It's shame on you that you call yourself a Buddhist and you are depressed today. It's shame on you that you feel helpless. You have embarrassed Buddha, you have embarrassed Dharma, and you have let us totally down. You never practice it properly. It's shame on your teacher. It's shame on all the name temple you visit. You have never realized it. And please wake up and try to practice it differently, and have a great confidence in yourself. The meaning of the Dharma is when you become the Dharma follower, you become actually fearless. That's what Buddha said. When you become my follower, you become fearless. Today, as you said, you are a Buddhist follower too, right?
Yes, Lord.
So if you felt fearful, you failed, I'm sorry. You need to rethink. Maybe you should not follow Buddhism anymore, Dharma, because it's not serving you. You call yourself a Buddhist and you are full of fear and you feel helpless, This is not what we are, So to the fellow Asians and the Buddhist Dharma follower, this is my just gentle reminder.
You have widely spoken about the 7-point mind training. So if you could tell us about more about that.
Well, Sonam, 7-point of mind training is a whole subject, Of course, taught by Gautama Buddha, and 2,500 years ago. Is a great text. I don't know if people could read this on their own without someone actually initiating it, because Dharma is like a treatment, okay? And I'm sure that you are well learned about this. Dharma, teaching of the Buddha, has 84,000 subjects. 84,000 subjects, right? And these 84,000 subjects are supposed to help our ignorance. To help our ignorance, to cure our ignorance, there are 21,000 subjects. To cure our anger, 21,000. To help our desire, 21,000. All together with ego and jealousy, another 21,000. That makes the teaching 84,000. So we don't need all when you go to pharmacy, you don't need all the medicine there. You need the one that is prescribed. So teachers are like a physician in the Dharma. And teachings of the Buddhas are like a pharmacy in the medicines. And teacher prescribed to you and you have to follow this. So I don't know if people could read on their own because the message will be different. And I would actually recommend people to read, those who are in the quarantine right now, Old Path, White Cloud, the book by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's translated, but it's a beautiful life story of the Buddha. I think you should read this, and this would really bring you back in 2,500 years ago in 500 BC. And 7-point of mind training is a beautiful subject. The first, it will talk about the meaning of your life. The first point, it talks about meaning of my life, meaning purpose of your life. Secondly, then it will be introduction on loving kindness. And thirdly, how to exercise this mindfulness. And the fourth one, how all this unfavorable conditions to become a support for you to become a better human being is really beautiful. And then the measure of your practice, if you have really mastered loving kindness. And then the sixth one is how to practice this loving kindness in your daily life, and then the limit of measuring of your quality. If you've been exercising, you have to see if you have been losing weight, if you have become healthier, so you can measure. You have to measure yourself. And finally, keeping your commitment towards loving kindness is a beautiful 7-point of mind training. Of course, it was taught by Gautama Buddha. Later, it was actually mainly practiced by a great master called Atisha, and that was brought to Tibet. And there was this great master called Professor Chikawa, and he was actually meditating on 7-point of mind training. And then many Tibetans suffer from leprosy, and there was no cure then. And Master Chikawa actually taught about this emptiness and loving kindness and exchanging yourself with suffering and the happiness with others. Through 7.0 mind training, actually many people were cured in Tibet. And later, Master Chikawa make it public. It's supposed to be actually a secret practice, personal practice. And I will recommend people, and I want to request all the monk, our Dharma teachers, to focus on a little bit of education. Okay, we think, right? I'm sure you think the same. Oh, the chobeni is a lam chob for us it's like you can never do this. Yes, before our modern educations, because our farmers, our parents, they can't read, write, they are uneducated. That's why Dharma was not open for them, because they have no clue. Today you are educated, modern education. You don't have to be Dzongkha educated. You don't have to be a Dharma educated. As long as you have a mind to analyze the teaching of the Dharma or you have to examine it. As long as you have a mind to examine it, as long as you have some, the basic educations, and there are many dharmas available now. I think for our younger generations, we think we have a great culture. Yes, we do, such as our costume, our food, our language. But these are just identity. These are just identity, saying that we are Buddhists. Okay, and today, if you look at the millennials, right, the youth, it's just like a foreigner adorned with the ko and kira. The way you think, the way you behave, how you look at your life and your purpose of your life. It's just the identity, is adorned with our culture. Innerly, actually, I'm sorry to say that some people may don't like it. We are losing true Buddhism, our authenticity, the spiritual heritage, meaning that our ethics, and then the principle, and it's disappearing. It's quite. This is more scary than COVID-19. We all know. So I think it's a time for us to really contemplate and do something about it after COVID-19, because we learn from COVID-19. So thanks to Guru COVID-19. Is a great lesson that gives all of us the opportunity to think and pause yourself, and take a break and contemplate. I think a lot of things, as someone always said, doing right thing wrongly. We wanted to grow our country, develop. Yes, we need this, but there are many things going wrong. So if you do right thing wrongly, everything will be wrong. So if you do wrong thing rightly, even the wrong will become right. So I think we have the problem of the modernization everywhere. Doing right thing wrongly. We want happy, right? We want it to be happy. We want it to be free. But the idea and the approach towards our freedom and happiness is wrong. So I think we have to really rethink and contemplate on it.
I believe you have gone through a kidney transplant surgery, and I have spoken with some of your students. They were mentioning that you have healed miraculously.
Even though heal is temporary, as I said. We are born to die. We are gathered to be, depart, and that was back in 2011. Actually, I was suffering from IgA. Actually is more prone to Asians. Than the cause of my kidney failure. And to cut it short, I think I actually became a better person because of my IgA, sickness, the chronic disease of my kidney. Because, for example, before that, I'm nobody yet. There's a certain respect from people. You forgot to be humble, and you get carried away. When you are put in a hospital bed, then you realize you are just another ordinary human being, and it's between death and life, you know. And so I promised myself, if I recover, I wanted to live differently, you know. And of course, after kidney transplant, we are prescribed with the immune suppress medicine, where we are not supposed to be in the public. You know, you have to be really, really careful because your body is really weak. And as being a spiritual healer, we have to go see sick people. They come to see us as well. We have to, of course, even go attend wake sometimes, you know, bless a dead body. And first couple of months, I restricted myself, you know. Then I feel like I have no purpose of my life. As a spiritual individual, I recovered, and purpose of my life is to serve others. And here I am fearful that I may get infected myself, you know. Then I rather die because you are not able to serve your purpose, you know. People say, can you come bless? No, I may die, you know, I can't do that. I may get infected. Oh, I can't even get closer to the dead body, you know, because it has more germs. And so I took a drastic kind of step, saying things, and it doesn't matter even if I live 1 month or 2 weeks or 1 day, as long as I can bring a smile on other people's face. This is what I want to do, you know. Of course, my mother hated me for this, and a lot of other friends. Even last night, there was someone messaged me from overseas. It's like, please stay home, and you know, like don't do whatever you are doing. Even don't be sitting in the temple with the monks because you are weak, you know. Of course, I didn't even reply that because I came back to Bhutan because I'm worried about the well-being of my people here, you know. And there was a doubt. Everybody, all my friends were saying, don't go back to Bhutan because medical care will be better in overseas. But I said, like, hey, I'm talking about myself. But there are a couple of hundred people that I have to be, they are under my concern and care. You know, if it's outbreak, these people will be really helpless and traumatized. So I may not be able to serve my whole country, but the people under my care, I'm sure that I want to give them a moral support. I want to be there for them, you know. So what I'm saying is, I actually changed the way of my how to live my life by treasuring and really embracing every moment, you know. And the purpose of my life is like I just want to live for the benefit of others, you know. So of course, then I recovered, and the miracle behind this is it was 12 inches stitch, you know, the kidney transplant, and doctor was like constantly, be careful, you know, you may get rejected, you know, by your own kidney, and your transplanted foreign organ, and so I was constantly reminded to be careful, you know. Then I got, of course, I was scared, you know. Not that I was not practicing then. I was practicing Guru Rinpoche. I used to do my daily meditation, my offerings. Nothing really helped me because I feel that I may stop breathing anytime, you know. So then I realized there's a Buddha called Medicine Buddha, you know. Then somehow, because you're helpless, you know. And then I called one of my senior in India and found the text. Then I went for actually 21 days of Medicine Buddha meditation, strict retreat. And I was very sincere, I was faithful, I was confident, like putting all my trust into my Medicine Buddha. In 21 days, result was remarkable, you know. And doctor were like surprised, and because we have this immune suppressed medicine, you know, like that it reduced tremendously the mg that I take. And then my the wound healed, you know, faster. So then my doctor was asking, "What did you do?" You know, so I said, "I do healing meditation." You know, so then I introduced my doctor, who was non-Buddhist, And so this is, then he was saying, oh, I thought the Buddha is yellow, yours is quite dark and blue. You know, so like, well, this is supposed to be another Buddha. And he was actually kind of confused. How many Buddhas are there? I said, like, you are a Buddha, I'm a Buddha too, you know. And we had a great joke, but I introduced, and it's ridiculously, I have few doctor friends, they give medicine Buddha image to them, saying that, oh, maybe you take our treatment as well, you know, maybe try to meditate, you know, this is the Buddha of like healer, you know. And anyway, to cut it short, so then I continuously meditate and practice on medicine Buddha. Recently, and of course with the kidney foreign transplant, hypertension, high blood pressure is part of it, you know. It's been almost 10 years. I was on the highest dosage of hypertension, amlodipine, you know, medicine. And 2 years ago, actually, I was diagnosed with diabetes, you know. And as I was saying, you know, my purpose of my life is to serve others and live, you know. So my projects are coming up. I'm doing whatever I can do within my own limits and my, you know, control. And I was thinking that it's okay if you want to die, you know, you just come back again, you know. I don't know if I can come back as who I am, but doesn't matter even I come back as a dog, you know. And so I was prepared, and yet, because there are many people, actually, not to just like take the credit, I was the first one to introduce Medicine Buddha public retreat in Bhutan, you know. I initiated. When I say I, it sounds really ego, I'm sorry, you know, but it's the group, and we initiated making offerings going green, you know, offering only milk, water, and then the organic, you know, edible offerings. And so today I feel that, you know, many people are turning towards the Medicine Buddha, and Medicine Buddha is not something that I founded. 2,500 years ago, when Gautama Buddha taught Dharma teaching, Gautama Buddha turned the wheel of Dharma 3 times, meaning he taught 3 different times, 3 different teachings, and he encouraged people, followers, to meditate on Medicine Buddha, to heal. You know, Buddha beautifully advised, you as my follower, you know, the purpose of Dharma is to be enlightened. Enlightenment and awaken will only happen within your own awareness in your mind. And your enlightenment dwells in the mind. Mind dwells in body, and your body should be healthy. You know, if you have no mind, and if you have no health, you have no body. If you don't have the body, you don't have the mind. If you don't have the mind, you can't be enlightened. You know, so it's interdependent. So Gautama Buddha advised, you have to stay healthy, so then you can actually utilize your body and the mind to meditate, and then you can be enlightened. So Buddha constantly introduced about the Guru Bekhanze, about the Medicine Buddha. Gautama Buddha was the one who introduced the Medicine Buddha. Gautama Buddha was the one who taught about his practice, you know. So this healing meditation in the culture has been 2,500 years ago, you know. So yes, I give credit to this, and through this Medicine Buddha healing, just last year, 2019, in the mid, somehow I was feeling really weak, and I thought my time's up, you know. And for my surprise, my diabetes disappeared, you know, and my blood pressure went really low, you know, to the extent where I have to be completely off my medicines. As I was saying, things are impermanent. I'm not surprised if I have to be back on my medications. Today, I'm sure there's no new kidney born in my body, but I'm free from diabetes as well as hypertension, you know, and of course, it's definitely a merit and the credit from Guru Bekhanze, you know. And then one thing is, I was saying earlier, separate your body and your mind, you know. Body is like in the cup. When you pour hot water, your container become hot, you know. When you pour ice, it become chilled. But it's not the cup that is cold or heart. So your mind, so they are, mind and the body, if you really look at it, they are totally two different entities. But if you don't analyze it, you become one. Actually, your body becomes the slave of your mind, and your mind is immortal. Your mind will leave when your body doesn't function, and here you are distracted with your body, not with your mind. So here I separate myself. I say like, hey, the most important part is my mind. My mind is never no kidney failure. My mind is untouchable. My mind is like, perfect. My mind has no problem, is the vehicle that I'm using, which is called body. So I just give him a break. When you are able to separate these two, you feel good, you feel better, and to be honest, this is the secret. This is what I do, but it doesn't mean you abuse your body, okay? Respect. It's two different entities, but we live in harmony. This is important.
And as we end our program, your advice for our viewers?
Be kind, and when you say be kind, not to become the victim. Kindness with awareness, There are many people who say like, oh, I'm not religious, I don't go to temple, but I'm kind, and your kindness is conditional. You are kind as long as you don't step on my toe. You are kind as long as you gain what you want, and don't be conditional. Be unconditional. But being unconditional doesn't mean that you become the victim. Have great awareness. So wisdom and kindness together. Kindness with wisdom is the key of happiness. And only kindness will get you in trouble. So this time, I think during this such difficult period, it's important to have more awareness, more self-inwarding thoughts, and self-actualization is very important. And hopefully that we all will learn that life is more than living or more than enjoying it, So please enjoy suffering, live with kindness and wisdom. I think we will be better. And well, that's all, I guess.
Thank you, very much for your time and sharing your wisdom and insight with us.
Thank you too.